just arrived from Quito. I just ran into the legend here to pick me up. Here he is. Look at that fantastic sign. I'm so glad to see you, my friend.
Welcome again.
Welcome. All right, we're here to climb. We're going to do this. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, ready for a new adventure.
Big adventure with the legend. Back in Ecuador, I am here at the start of another adventure. This one's involving a charity climb for the Army Aviation Museum Foundation. I'm here with Bob Barlow, who is a retired warrant officer, and he volunteers with the Army Aviation Museum Foundation and the museum here.
Just basically, I joined the Army in 1979, became a pilot, served all over the place. My wife and I both retired. We lived in England for 10 years. Came here in 2015. I've been working around the museum ever since. This is a Cessna YH-41A Seneca. That would have been its name had the Army adopted it. It was built in 1956 by Cessna Aircraft Company. But basically, it was a concept by them, or an attempt by them, to break into the helicopter market and hopefully get military and civilian sales. And this is the only one that survives. This aircraft is in fairly good shape considering its age. It's, you know, over 60 years old. There are some things that'll have to be done in the cockpit. There'll have to be some work done on the instrument panel, of course. There's a couple of missing instruments. We'll source those. Those aren't a problem. We have a source for vintage instruments. We'll pull the panel and get that cleaned up and sanded down. All of these original markings you see, that's important. We'll save those, even the dymo tape here. All that is part of the history of the aircraft. We don't want to destroy that. Anything in any restoration, it's better to have the original part, whatever its condition, than to have a replacement, because that's not the aircraft anymore. The rotor head on this one's unique, at least in my experience. It doesn't have external pitch change links like you would see in like some of the other aircraft in here, like the Cobra or the Huey, where you have the pitch change links that go up and change the pitch of the blade. It's all internal. You can see here's the mast, and it's square instead of round, which is also amusing. One of the reasons we want to preserve this one is because it tells a story about development of vertical lift and the development of the helicopter, and this is one of the things they tried, and that's important for a museum to demonstrate. Fortunately, the plexiglass is intact. It's not yellowed or crazed. We have polishing compounds that will take out any cloudiness and any scratches. We can make this look practically new. I'm very thankful there's no cracks and no crazing, because otherwise we'd have to replace it, and that's quite an ordeal. As you can see, it's all riveted in, and it's a complex shape. The paint job on this one, that's going to be probably the longest and most complicated involved part. This is the original paint scheme. It's never been repainted. That's another thankful thing. A lot of things we deal with has been painted several times. The markings have been painted over and repainted incorrectly. As far as this, you can see we got some deterioration here. That's just where the primers let go of the aluminum, and that's not a big problem. This area here will just have to be sanded and feathered back, and then we'll prepare the surface properly with like a self-etching primer, so that'll be a paint job that'll last 100 years once we do it. We've got a little bit of sheet metal work that'll be done, but that can be done right on the aircraft. That can be straightened and trued up. The same way with this dent here, we can pull that out. As you see, we got a little more of the paint releasing here. That's not a problem. We got the same issues here around this national marking here with some of the paint releasing. Again, on the top, we got some paint releasing on the cabin roof. Like I said, all their markings on here are original. That's really good. We'll have to replace this because we'll repaint the aircraft, but we'll record this and get the exact font and the size and all the wording and spacing. Everything will be just like this. The same way for the national markings, all the data stenciling, because I don't want to repaint those. I don't want to do that. It wouldn't be that difficult to do, but then you lose something, because this was done by hand, and this stencil was cut and done by hand. When you start taking something away and replacing it, you're losing history. Somebody actually sat there and did that one day, and I don't want to lose that. We'll clean that up, make a mask, and tape that off, and leave it. And that's something that is very, very important that we save.
Now you see why we're trying to raise $9,500 for this aircraft. I mean, it has a unique history. We've talked about it, And I really are thankful for guys like Bob. Bob's really one of the guys who's going to spearhead getting this thing ready for display. And hopefully we'll see it displayed in the new training support facility that should be coming in the fall of 2021. I want to thank you very much. I appreciate all that you've done here today.
No problem. I enjoyed it.
Great.
All right. Thank you.
My hotel is in a nice location and is conveniently located to many of the area's restaurants and shops. So I actually have a lot to choose from, and it's just quite beautiful down here. It's almost like being back home. I stopped off at a familiar place for some lunch. I normally don't eat fast food, but I figured, what the heck, might as well eat something I don't eat a lot back in America, so I stopped in for some quick Burger King. Now I'm going to go for a walk around the city just to get some exercise and to stimulate myself to help grow more hemoglobin. Keto is at 9,200 feet, the part I'm at, and this is just helping with my acclimation before I start to do my climbing. I'm excited. I found a restaurant that I ate at last time. It's still open. It's the Rib Company. They have some of the best ribs I've ever eaten anywhere. Also nearby is a supermercado or a grocery store, which is a great location that I come and shop at, pick up things like chocolate bars and other items I might want while I'm staying at my hotel.